go.
Not the bodily fluids that are going to sell me on it.
Witness my genius. Daddy, I want to be a toilet bowl. Yeah. Tell him, Steve Dave.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Tell 'em Steve Dave. Another patchwork edition. Taking guys from here, taking guys from there. The bad news is no BQ. The better news is no get 'em. And the best news is Sunday Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, first we have to mull over this BQ thing. He says he has no time. He's too busy.
He is busy.
I'm scouring the internet. And
you don't subscribe to that. He's too busy, huh?
I'm starting to think maybe not. I'm starting to think this whole busy smokescreen is designed to not come down and do Tell 'em Steve Dave. I'm trying to figure out why.
Well, I mean, why do you think he's not too busy?
Why do you think he is? I've shown you evidence.
Oh, that picture of him at a wrestling match?
Picture of Q at a wrestling match, smiling and enjoying himself.
Now, one would argue you got front row seats where you could where when a wrestler gets slammed on the mat and you could get hit by some of the sweat,
some of the flop sweat,
some kickback.
Would you say no? I can't go to that wrestling match. I got to record TSD.
I think you know the answer to that.
What?
If someone were like, "Hey, you can be front row at a wrestling match or do Tell 'em Steve Dave," you know what I would say.
You know, yes, because you don't care about wrestling.
I don't give a fuck.
But the BQ, that's he's a different man. He loves it. He likes his wrestling, though. So I guess it would be like, okay, Bri, you could go and see some band you really like, and when the guitarist is doing a solo, you may get splattered with some of his sweat. You're that close. Would you record TSD or would you go?
It's really not the bodily fluids that are going to sell me on it.
I'm just trying to sell to you how close you are.
Keep my mouth open. Hopefully that sweat gets in my mouth.
Yeah, am I collecting DNA for an investigation or something?
And for me, if it was like I was behind the goal at a Devils game, you're right by the goal judge.
Right.
Luckily the glass is between me and any sweat. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't have to worry about it, but I would probably say, "Hey guys, roll without me this week. I'm going."
Take a pass, huh?
I might take a pass. I mean, we're definitely at this point, and soon to not be busy. Me and you, at least. But we all been busy.
And then this morning, I went up to the SiriusXM studios, and Eric Nagel had me on. He filled in for the Jimmy and Opie Opie and Jimmy show. And as I was leaving, I turn around, and who do I see?
No.
BQ and Sal. Oh. They're going to the Stern studio to do the wrap-up show.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I think they're favorites over there.
Yeah,
they've done it a couple times, I think.
It's understandable.
Did you know he was going to be there?
I didn't. It was total happenstance. And Q asked me to come in to watch, and I stayed for a couple minutes, but then I had to go to come down and fulfill my comic book obligations.
I talked to BQ last night on the phone, and
he was like,
"What's up? How you doing, buddy?"
He did not use the sick card. He did not say he was too sick to come down. He legitimately said he's got a lot going on this week and he couldn't make it this week.
Mm-hmm.
And but he did have good news on the health on the health front. He got a nice report back from all his tests, but I'll let him explain all that. Obviously, I mean, but it's good news though for anybody who has been worried. I think it's nice news he got.
Who has been following the trials and tribulations of BQ? I will say that I was happy that he seemed to have some color in his cheeks. He looked better.
Well, that picture you showed me of him at the wrestling match, I was like, that's not a sick man.
Right.
I mean, he was grinning ear to ear, and he was into it, and I was just like, so like, at least, but I'm not. That's what I'm saying. You got to give him up for it. He didn't. Or maybe he knew those pictures on the internet. I don't know. But at least he didn't say I'm too sick to go because maybe he knew those pictures are on there. But he did just said he was too busy to this week.
Yeah. Do you think he looked at his picture and he's like, I'm just my cheeks are flushed. I look too healthy. Here's BQ this morning. This is in the Stern studio.
Yeah,
he's looking good, right?
He looks fine to me.
Yeah.
But again, though, he didn't. Last night I talked to him, he did not mention once that he couldn't come down because he's too sick.
Who's not looking so great in that picture, though?
Sal looks a little, Sal looks like he's in another world.
Sal told me he was recovering from a migraine. He did it. I want him to cut that mustache so he looks like an Amish guy. I think he'd look pretty great. So we'll forge ahead without BQ.
He said he's coming back next week.
He'll be back next week?
That's what he said. But he only has one day he could do it on, and that's Friday. So we'll see.
Okay. Well, we have all next week off, right?
Yeah, I'll be available.
Will you be here?
All next week?
Oh,
the only day I won't be here is Monday, but he's unavailable Monday anyway.
Okay.
So Friday is the day we'll do it. So I'm sure it'll go up either Saturday, Sunday, or Monday then.
Okay. Well, we're going to turn to Sunday, Jeff, for
you're going to lean on him?
wisdom. Yeah.
My wisdom, huh?
Yeah.
The all-seeing eye.
I saw this the other day. A link was sent to me from a friend of mine. Caitlyn Jenner Halloween costume Sunday, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Controversial. Critics say the costume mocks the transgender community and promotes transphobia by reducing gender to a stereotype. Because it's that the Halloween.
Is it like
costume.
Is it like a Ben Cooper costume?
Yeah,
because of plastic mask.
Yeah, it's an apron with a picture of her on. It's this. I mean, I guess you wouldn't know what it almost is a Ben Cooper costume because it says "Call me Caitlyn" on the sash. Because I guess people would be like, "Who are you supposed to be?"
Yeah.
But it's the Vanity. I think it was Vanity Fair.
Oh yeah,
the Vanity Fair cover. Now, people are outraged Sunday, Jeff. They say.
What else is new?
They say, "Do not turn Caitlyn Jenner." There's an online petition. How many?
I mean, but in recent history, Halloween costumes, the flavor, the hot or flavor of
they've changed quite a bit.
No, I meant the hot flavor of the
whether it's
of the year.
Snooki, whether it's. I mean, the number of real person costumes out there every year, including some like really. Tasteless ones. Like I remember, I think I talked about it once, like a woman dressed up like JonBenet Ramsey with like ligature marks on her neck. Now to me, that's fucking tasteless. Now, but she had put that together. It was't like she bought the costume.
Store bought.
Right. But
that one doesn't look store bought either. The picture
it looks pretty shitty, doesn't it? Spirit Halloween is the company that they're
a big one. That's a big one.
But hats off to Spirit Halloween. They say they have no intention of pulling the costume.
Yeah, wait till the fire gets too hot. And I want to see.
What was the last one? Remember there was a
toilet bowl?
No, there was it was last year. It was another one that was just too offensive for everybody. Fuck, what was it?
Yeah, but I mean,
I can't remember.
The fire. I mean, this company. What was it called?
Spirit Halloween.
Spirit Halloween. I know that they're standing firm now, but if the fire gets too hot, I can't imagine that they won't pull it if things get too heated. What do you think? So should they pull it?
No. Why should they pull it? As long as they're selling, that's what they're there to do for, sell costumes.
Yeah.
Sort of strong argument.
Yeah.
That's what they're there for.
Yeah.
They're there for to sell costumes.
Is Quick Check going to stop selling milk and bread? Come on.
Because you don't like fucking milk, they're not going to stop. They're going to stop selling. Oh, you know what? I don't like that cover.
But they have to get into like.
I'm lactose intolerant.
The transgender community is still marginalized. People who want to sound smart love to use the word marginalized. And then it goes on to list all this shit about like transgender people are twice as likely to be unemployed and 4 times likely to live in extreme poverty and blah, blah, blah. You're talking about the one of the transgender people who is not living in extreme poverty, who puts herself out there constantly for reality shows, for any fucking reason, to go on Vanity Fair, to go accept hero awards, to do all this other shit.
She is a public figure.
Yeah.
And she is, I would imagine, if like equality and putting everybody in an equal, on an equal footing. Mm-hmm. Why is she off limits to to a costume when other public figures have also been turned into costumes?
So many.
And I know that there's the frat boys will wear the costume, and it'll be a real like yuck fest.
Right.
No, what about a fan? A fan could wear the costume,
but
too.
They can make the fucking costume anyway. It's not like if Spirit Halloween doesn't sell it, they're like, oh, I guess.
Well, the argument is should they prosper and make money off of this person and this movement and this cause?
Sure, why not? They absolutely should.
Well,
like you said, she's a public figure,
right? And that costume right there is if there was something a little bit more lampooning or a little bit more. There's really not much there to the costume, though.
Yeah, it's
like
I said.
There.
If it didn't say "Call me Caitlin," you would have no idea what it was supposed to be.
Yeah, so I just think that. People, they want a cause. I mean, people need a cause.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know when that happened.
Or need to bitch.
Yeah, but people need a cause, and I guess it's distracting too. I guess a cause can make you not look at your own backyard.
Mm-hmm.
A cause can make you feel better if you fight for it. I guess that can also help your self-esteem. I guess if you feel like you're taking up the cause, even if you don't really make a difference.
Yeah, like why does it have to be negative? Why can't you go out dressed as Caitlyn Jenner and it be viewed as supportive?
That's what I said, like a fan wearing it or something. Yeah. It's like, I love this.
They're automatically like, no, this is negative, and they're making fun of her.
But Sunday Jeff, little Chloe comes home and she's like, Daddy. Oh, you know what I'm going for as Halloween this year?
Mm-hmm.
Caitlyn Jenner.
Does she have a speech impediment?
No. Why is it?
Then why isn't she calling her Caitlyn Jenner?
Well, I was trying to talk like a little girl.
Okay, Caitlyn Jenner. she's since you saw her last
7, 8,
9.
Oh, 9. I was trying to sound like a 9-year-old.
Yeah, since you saw her last, she suffered partial hearing loss.
Yeah.
What are you buying it?
I mean, that costume is...
It's not risque. It's not no skin
showing.
No,
I'm saying that, but that costume is a lot better than I've seen some of the other costumes.
Are you slapping down to $30?
Or
$25.
Would you be floored that she knew who Caitlyn Jenner was?
I don't even know who it is. That's how I'm floored.
I mean, right now, this is nice. Are you telling me you would have no problem? You'd be like, you wouldn't try to talk her out of it?
That is a boring costume anyways. I mean, it is like the less, compared to some of these, but she has some of the adult costumes.
But she has your blessing then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I would put her on like that. There's nothing really wrong. Like you said, you don't even know it's a costume.
You got to,
this is some liberal guy over here.
Is she affecting somebody? Is she hurting somebody?
No, that's what I'm saying. Well, I was a little leery asking that question. I didn't know what was going to come out, but I'm very, very. You are part of the progressive movement, my friend.
It's not affecting anybody.
The parade.
You see me? I'll be wearing a costume right down the street.
I mean, okay, because we've had this argument. I found this offensive. One of the costumes a couple years ago from a couple years ago where we talked about it. And she's like, "Hey,
my kid's 9. She knows how to speak. She's in 4th grade. So it's like my kid's now a 2-year-old in a rattle. It's like, can I wear this?
I haven't seen her in a while. I didn't know she was that old.
She's 9 years old.
Wanna be Caitlyn Jenner?
Here, let me get you a stroller. I'll get the full measure for the costume.
Daddy, I want to be a toilet bowl. Yeah. Where do you draw the line there?
Yeah, that's
question.
That's tasteless now. I mean, you got to start to throw in wits. I mean, you can't go to school like that wearing a costume. Obviously,
you can.
I don't know if you'd be able to get.
There's
nothing
like
in the bowl.
feces in the bowl.
No, it's a very clean, very pristine white toilet bowl costume. No,
I don't know.
Not happening.
I just don't see. I could see going as something like stupid, like I just can't. Why a toilet bowl? It's just why. I'm saying, what's funny about what is the
now you're the parameter of funny, Daddy.
Yeah.
It's just like, why would you do you consider yourself shit that you got to go as a toilet
Daddy?
bowl? Why? I wouldn't recommend as a toilet bowl. I wouldn't recommend a toilet bowl. I just don't see that as it's not even a costume, though. I mean, it's just stupid.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully, though, I think the toilet bowl costume has fallen from favor.
Fallen from grace.
Oh, please! There are people out there that this year are definitely going out as
will be toilet bowls.
Okay, here's what else Sunday, Jeff, just in case you're wondering, in case Sunday Chloe comes home and she says, I want to go out as a sexy Ebola containment suit.
That was the one that got everybody upset, right? The Ebola doctor or the Ebola victim?
Well, the men's version of the outfit isn't dubbed sexy, but the women's is. I guess that's the big fucking problem. Now, Q is the authority here. This is why I wish he was here.
On what, sexy?
Well, of course. Come on.
Well, I mean, we got somebody sitting in for him. He could become the expert for a week.
Well, you need to
know. Halloween traditionally is a night that many girls, not all, but love to go dressed up as sexy as possible.
Provocatively,
they do.
Provocatively. It's sexy this. It's sexy that. It's sexy toilet bowl. Sexy Ebola patient. Whatever. It really has become sort of traditional. So, no, a sexy containment suit Halloween costume is not okay. It's just like these fucking cock-sucking motherfuckers on the internet with these pronouncements as if it is fact. It kills me.
Well, let's talk about Ebola. I mean, it fell out of the news. No one's talking about it anymore, right?
Right.
It's not an issue anymore.
No.
Why?
This was last year's costume.
Because they were wearing sexy containment suits.
Yeah,
nobody got it.
Safe.
But why is it? Why did it just fall off the radar? It's not a threat anymore?
I guess.
Because it was never a fucking issue to begin with.
Oh, come on, man. Our first recorded patients that had it in America?
Right, but that doesn't.
It was contained, though. They contained quite a bit. That was a story.
You can't just say you can't.
Oh no, it was definitely. I remember. I remember AIDS jail and AIDS dog and all that stuff. Or I'm sorry, Ebola jail. But it died off because that one case wasn't enough to capture and maintain. I mean, what is enough?
It wasn't a worldwide spread.
Unless it's a major catastrophe in this country.
Unless it's Outbreak, the movie.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think all you need to see. I think you need to see one more case pops up. The same kind of scare.
But it's rarities. Like if it's a certain amount of months and one case pops up and then it dies down for a couple months, another case, it's being contained. It's not like you have a whole flight that's coming over from another country or whatever, and the whole plane is contaminated. You got like 260 people on the plane there. That's a different story. Okay, now you have to contain those people.
Okay, so now kid comes home. It's like, Daddy, my friend is going as Ebola victim. I want to go as Ebola victim too. What do you say?
Yeah, they're going out as a pair of Ebola victims.
My best friend is going out. I want to go out the same thing.
Wait a second. And how old is she? She's still 10 or 9 or whatever?
She's 9.
Okay.
What do you say?
The suit might save her life. It might be a good suit.
She's like, I want to go out as Caitlyn Jenner with Ebola.
What do you say? Because this to me is not that. To me, I would not feel this was offensive.
No, it's just a hazardous material suit. It's nothing special.
I think you would get I think that you would be the talk of the neighborhood as you walked away. And
like she went to school.
That kid came
yeah, I think that all the other parents would be like, wow, that is a very strange costume.
Yeah,
it's really not a costume. It's a real hazmat suit. I just don't want her to get nothing.
Yeah, they walk away, and the families are like, oh.
You're a contradiction. I mean, which is good.
No,
you're like yes to Caitlyn Jenner and yes to Ebola
if it's happening in your town, if people are dying in your town from Ebola, obviously you don't wear fucking that costume in your. If this is happening in a third nation,
in Djibouti,
right? If this is happening in a place that's not really relative to where you are and you wear it, it's not really affecting anybody in your area. You know what I'm saying?
But is it insensitive?
It could be. It could be to some people, but everybody's insensitive to something, There's always going to be somebody that's insensitive no matter what you say, no matter what you do. There's always going to be
there's no way to live your life without being insensitive?
No, well, something's always going to bother you somewhere down the line, something or someone,
Well, you're saying
I want to live my life being sensitive to everything
at all.
You don't want to do
that. Well, I hope it's not today.
Oh,
why? Why is it? Why would it be wrong?
You're supposed to live your life. I mean, you worry about your stuff, your priorities, your family, the things that you need to worry about. Worrying about meaningless nonsense, about a Halloween costume is, it's not like somebody has an illness, a fatal disease. I mean, that's stuff that you really need to worry about.
Well, Ebola. We are talking.
I'm not sure if he's for it or against it. I can't tell.
But again, it never really panned out. So
what she's but you're
if
saying
it was that much of an epidemic, no, you would not be wearing that costume.
Okay,
if it was that much of a problem.
Kid comes home tomorrow. This is the costume I want. Are you saying okay?
I would explain to her. I says I would think it's not in good taste to do it. I mean,
you would.
Yeah, sure.
Now you would say that.
Sure, I would. I mean, I'm really as far as I let my daughter. I don't let her do everything, but I'm saying, I listen to her. I listen to what she wants to do, or what she wants to go as. And I was like, a lot of times for Halloween, she goes she doesn't even want to go Halloween. She doesn't really find anything about trick-or-treating. Last year, we didn't even go trick-or-treating. We went actually we did. We went to Great Adventure. We had it in the park. But she's not really big. I mean.
Okay, pretend. I would like to hear this conversation, though. Daddy, I want to go as.
I would go as, and I would say if it was something that was time sensitive, I would explain to her. I say, maybe you shouldn't really go. I said, look at the facts.
Can't you just go as a toilet bowl?
Why?
Because of what's going on right now.
What's going on?
It's not, maybe you have. You could, you go out trick-or-treating and you might not get as much candy because, all these people out there is like, somebody says, this guy's coming over.
But my friend is going and I want to go as like my friend.
Well, maybe you don't have to go with your friend. It's like, I'm not telling you.
Why? What's wrong with it? You're not being 100% honest with me and up front. Why is it wrong? You still haven't explained to me, Daddy, why it's wrong.
Because it's something that's sensitive to certain people. At this time, it's not something that I would recommend for you to
So you're saying no then, huh?
I didn't say no, but I said I wouldn't recommend it. I'm going to
ask Mommy. F you.
Yeah,
okay.
Go fuck yourself.
That takes care of me. I'm done.
Go out as your toilet bowl.
Yeah. And then she'll come back in a costume I totally didn't want.
Yeah, I didn't think that was too meaningful. Okay, but here's another one Sunday, Jeff. Amy Poehler. You know who she is, right? She Parks and Recreation, Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
Very famous comedian.
He doesn't know because I don't know either. I don't think he knows.
Oh, really? Very well-known comedian. She was on SNL. She and Tina Fey are always presenting awards together. No.
80s?
No. Like Parks and Recreation, that show that I think it just got over. She's always on top 10 funniest
we watch
women
sports,
type
Bri.
thing. Okay.
Let's go Devils.
Well, she's on a show called Difficult People, right? And her character is a person who is constantly trying to get attention and will say anything just to get a laugh.
Get him?
No. I would say maybe more like me, actually. And the joke is the character plays a wannabe comedy writer. She fires off a tweet that reads, "I can't wait for Blue Ivy to be old enough for R. Kelly to piss on her." Now, Blue Ivy is Beyonce and Jay-Z's daughter, who I think is like 2 or 3 now. R. Kelly, obviously, you've heard of that whole thing. So people are beside themselves because a joke was made about R. Kelly pissing on Blue Ivy. Now, if it's made about a non-existent person, not Beyonce's child, do people care?
No.
Why? Why not? I mean, you're still talking about
because you're talking about nobody. You're
minor as your punchline.
Yeah, but you're talking about somebody now that actually is a person that actually has a name that somebody knows. You could be just talking to somebody and just you're not putting a name or a face to the name to the face or whatever.
Well, I mean, but isn't any minor off limits when it comes to telling a joke about urination?
I don't know if it's off limits. It's not something that should be talked about.
You're a contradiction, man.
No? Obviously, it's talked about here. See, those things don't bother me because you know what? I don't give a fuck. I really could care less about any of that nonsense. It's such bullshit.
He was going to weigh in.
But it's such bullshit. This is what people have all their time to do is worry about nonsense like this. Well, it's meaningless bullshit.
I agree with you. The people that have come out to defend Beyonce and it's inappropriate. Apologize for that joke. I am so fucking tired of people demanding that, like, here's my line and you've crossed it. Now you need to apologize.
The only line that should be crossing is Beyonce. That's the only one who should have a problem with it. Nobody else should have a problem with it.
And even her. I don't think Beyonce should be able to
She's the only one that should have a problem
demand an apology. Like, it's a joke. That's what comedians do. Right. They make jokes.
Exactly.
Sometimes they're incredibly tasteless.
Yeah, some jokes come with a heavy price, though.
They do come with a price, but I think that Amy Poehler should stay strong. I don't think she should. I don't think she should apologize because once you start that, then everybody.
Right.
Bill Burr, another comedian who was in the store. Remember that guy I brought in? He had like the reddish hair, probably like.
You brought a comedian into the store?
Yeah, famous comedian. Yeah, like 2 years ago.
Did he make jokes?
No, he liked the store though. He looked around the store and he was checking stuff out.
I don't remember this. No.
Yeah, he was on Conan and he made a joke about the NFL playing in pink because I guess
they do that for the breast cancer awareness.
For the breast cancer thing, right?
Right, October, November. I can't remember when it is.
Whenever it is, he's talking about. He was like, I just want to watch sports. I don't want to watch them dressed like newborn infants.
It's just a color.
Women want to take the NFL away from us because they hate that they can multitask and we have simple lizard brains. I thought it was actually quite equal in terms of like teasing guys and teasing women. Mm-hmm. But again,
you know what? Though, if you're going to make a joke though at the expense of a good cause.
Yeah,
and bringing awareness though, it better be a fucking funny joke though.
But it wasn't really about breast cancer. It's not like
it was about the feminine.
It was about it was more about.
But if you know you're going to put yourself out there, you know what? I'm going to take a dig or I'm going to take a shot at this.
Right.
Better have some fucking A-list material to fucking back it up because
it wasn't some of his better. He's actually my favorite comedian right now. I think he's absolutely brilliant, but it wasn't one of his finer moments, unfortunately. So to take backlash and shit for something that isn't really like a great moment sucks. I think. But
what did Conan say?
Conan just laughed.
He laughed.
Yeah.
Does he have to pay a penalty to laugh?
No. And everyone in the audience laughs. Just like when Louis C.K. was making the child molestation jokes, and they're like, the internet is outraged. And then they show like 3 tweets where people are mad. But you watch the episode of Saturday Night Live, and people are laughing in the audience.
But you're not seeing every face in the audience. There may be some who got maybe their arms crossed and got that face on.
Of course there are a couple. And you're allowed to not like it. You're allowed to say, I'm never listening to Louis C.K. again. You're allowed to say, I never want to hear that name again.
And you're allowed to say it, and you're allowed to tweet that you're not going to do it too.
And you're allowed to tweet that you think that they should apologize. But to demand an apology and to act as if like your personal line is what fucking matters. The fucking egocentrism of the fucking people. That's why I don't go on the internet anymore.
But think about if that person does apologize.
Yeah.
Think about what that empowerment that comes with that from people who want that apology, and that's what fuels this. Once they get that one, it feels like, I can get somebody else to do this too. I can get other people to apologize, and it's got to be like a real I
got my satisfaction.
Yeah, there's got to be some level of that upstairs where you're not getting in real life.
Yeah.
The results on the internet are different than results in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're like
fake.
Twitter slams.
Well, I would not call them fake. And,
So you get with what you say on TV and stuff, a show can get canceled. I mean, it's different story being an actor or being in the public, because it can carry on with you for quite some time.
What about if you made a joke like that at work? You were like,
well, again, also you have rules. As far as the state laws, you can't say certain fucking things. So it's you can't.
I don't think
you can't
it's state law.
Well, there's.
You made a joke in your workplace where you said,
depends.
I can't wait until Blue Ivy is old enough for R. Kelly to piss on.
I don't think there would be a problem with it.
You don't think there'd be a problem? You told that to somebody who's coming in to get some service?
No. I'm saying you're talking about like the people who work pay. Yeah, I'm saying as coming in, it's like, hey, you know what I want to do? I want to piss on Blue Ivy. Whatever. It's just like. Like, what's he talking about? Who's Blue Ivy? Is my car done?
Yeah, I would think that first they would have thought like you were stroking out, and then but then they'd really have to take it back and be like, we may need to fire this dude.
Yeah, if you were to say anything related to the public like that, I mean,
you got to realize, man, just because you say shit doesn't mean you're protected by the quote unquote First Amendment, because your employer has a right to be like, you know what? Fuck you! I don't want you bringing this into my house. I don't want you. I don't want to be associated with your views if those views are going to cost me dollars.
Well, they should never be directed towards customers or people that are coming into a place of business. Now, among people like like your fellow workers or whatever, different story.
It's not a different story.
Well. They might find some of it offensive.
Someone may be a big Beyonce fan working in the back, and you tell them that joke, and they could be fucking irate.
The Beyonce fans were fucking.
I don't know what too many
outraged.
Beyonce fans.
And it's like you wonder about the mentality. I'm like, these are either like 13-year-old girls or women over the age of 18 who are seriously brain damaged. Like there has to be something wrong with you if you get that worked up because it's not because it's a child, but because it's Beyonce's child.
I mean, is it any different than some of the ants who will leap to our defense if somebody comes after us?
You wouldn't have to worry about it from me. I'd never be talking about it. So
I think, though, that
just because there's less of them doesn't mean they're not just as touchy and ready to unleash some fangs.
Yeah, but I address it. Like if I have a problem with it, like I address it, and I don't think anybody.
No, I'm not saying you want them to, but if somebody said something, a joke at Tell 'em Steve Day's expense, you bet your ass there'd be some ants ready there to fucking go after that person.
Yeah,
sure.
There was, like I said, there was that guy who made that joke about Sage, that really nasty joke about Sage. Now, should he be allowed to say that joke? Of course he should. Should I be allowed to slap him in the fucking mouth if I see him? Yeah. That's what would happen.
But unfortunately, you can't do that.
You really aren't allowed to. You could be
I'm
prosecuted.
not allowed to.
Yeah, it's assault. You can't really do that.
You could do it, but you will be.
There'll be
repercussions for it.
I would do it.
Yes.
Would I be allowed to do it? No. And I'm sure he's the kind of fucking pussy who would immediately contact the authorities and shit, because anyone who's going to make fun of any little kid who has nothing to do with
is this Ivy
situation.
Kelly,
the R. Kelly Blue Ivy thing is not fucking real life, though. It's in a show. You know? Look, I'm not saying that the joke isn't tasteless. The joke is completely tasteless.
This is where lines get blurred, though. It's tough.
No, they're making. I mean, the guy was making fun of Sage being special needs. That's not like something that's not like real.
Yeah, but I mean,
you know what I mean? Like that's real. Like Sage having special needs and that guy making fun of her. That's a real situation where this is a fake situation being joked about. You know what I mean? If somebody made a joke like that was something that was obviously a joke. Right. About her, if I was that public a figure, I wouldn't demand an apology. I wouldn't. No, I really wouldn't.
But you are a public figure.
Yeah, but if somebody's joking around and I know that like I mean, if it were written into a show, first I'd be blown away. I would be so fucking floored.
How'd this get past the censors?
I'd be like, how do they know who I am, let alone who Sage is? That's stunning to me. I don't like the idea of people telling you what you can and can't say, you know? Unless, of course, like you say, it's your employer and you can't, like, it's not like anything goes. Like even some of the shit we say, like a lot of shit doesn't fucking fly on AMC. I can't imagine, like if we were to compile every single thing we say that could never be like said on the show, it would be hours and hours long.
Oh yeah.
You know, but that's why it's not on the show.
So what's your stance on public figures saying things and then having to be like immediately be like, I'm sorry?
Talking about like Donald Trump?
No, not like Donald Trump. I'm talking about like, did you hear about Curt Schilling?
Curt Schilling. That name sounds really familiar.
Google Curt Schilling tweet Nazi.
Curt Schilling tweet.
I mean, should the policy just be if you work, well.
Okay, here you go. Curt Schilling suspended by ESPN after a controversial tweet. He was a star pitcher in the major leagues for 20 years, a baseball analyst, and he said, it said only 5 to 10% of Muslims are extremists. In 1940, only 7% of Germans were Nazis. How'd that go? The text was superimposed of a red-tinted photo of Adolf Hitler. And then he said the math is staggering when you get to the true numbers. Okay, so he's saying, it was a meme. Oh, he reposted a meme.
What does that mean?
Like it's a picture of like Adolf Hitler, and the text is already there. Like
it's
I has cheeseburger. No, meme, like MEME.
Oh, okay.
Like hold on a second.
Well, it was. I guess a lot of people are saying it was mean as well as a meme.
No, it's like.
Well, he didn't. It's something he retweeted or something.
Like this is a meme. It's a picture of someone, and then they put the.
And he retweeted it.
He retweeted it, right? And
now it's and like ESPN, his boss is like, we don't like that, and you're suspended now.
But this is where it draws the line. Does it draw the line where if it's at the your home, you're not on the clock, you're not working at that per time? Obviously you're a public figure because you're on TV or whatever. You're a sportscaster.
You are always on the clock.
But technically, you're really getting paid for the time that you would be there.
But you're signing a contract that says you're going to.
Well, again, now you're getting into legal stance of it as far as what you can and what you can't do. So if you're doing
that, if you say something,
well, then he should be accountable. If you're saying that if you're not supposed to do that and you do that, now you're breaching your contract.
Is it coming to the point now where you will just have the no opinion is worth putting out there unless it's the most
accurate?
No, most vanilla.
No, it doesn't have to be vanilla.
And the world would be boring.
It just has to be what
the majority wants to hear.
Yes, what people want to hear about fucking transgendered rights.
Well, any subject.
Or racial shit or whatever. Yes, it has to be.
The popular opinion on every subject.
Because, the popular opinion
well, I don't even know if it's popular, as far as
the
PC opinion on every subject.
As far as Twitter or whatever is concerned, if you go against that, like Caitlyn Jenner for a while, it's like if you were to say like, look, I'm sorry, she's not beautiful. It's like you're a hate monger. You're anti-transgendered. You're a fucking piece of shit. And it's these people that it's fucking crazy that if you're not in line with what they think and say what they want to say, then that makes you a horrible person.
I don't know if I really believe though you're overlooking the real root cause of why this happens. So,
it's because of the media.
Well, it's because
the media fans the shit.
Yeah, they blow it up. He's right.
But it's also the fact that you have been conditioned now where you feel like you can make a difference, and you are. The rusty gate makes enough noise. What's it called?
The squeaky wheel gets grease.
Wow, yeah, that was really awful. Yeah, I mean, and
that sounds like some kind of like Cleveland steamer or some kind of sex.
But that is what I mean. And now it's you are allowed, not allowed, but A big enough vocal voice
depends on what the cause is, though.
Make a change, though.
Is it a reasonable and a good cause that a change is good, or is it just because you just want to voice your opinion and just get heard and be heard and listen to yourself talk?
Well, it's satisfying to be heard. Make no bones about it.
Well, a lot of people can be heard. A lot of people don't vote. You can be heard. I don't vote. There's people.
That didn't make any sense.
Well, you want to voice your opinion, but certain people don't even vote.
You want to be heard? Don't go vote.
You want to talk politics. You want to do things. Well, do something about it. Vote. Don't sit there and not go to the polls. That's one of the things. That's how you get heard. Your vote counts.
You vote every year?
Absolutely.
Would you vote for last year? Can I tell? Or is that? I don't. If you don't want to tell me, I understand.
Oh, who I voted for?
Why is that why
what's
is that
the difference?
along the lines of how much do you make a year? Who cares who people vote for?
Because you don't want to be pigeonholed. You don't want to be, because then people, there's as soon as Sunday Jeff tells me who he voted for, half of his people who dig him,
his fan base.
I want to say fan base, but half of the people who dig him, and a lot of people do,
right?
Half of them could be gone just by who he voted for. So I don't want to know.
Well, again, because that also puts it
I don't want to know. Don't tell me!
I'm not going to tell you, but I'm saying... That's because everything is always segregated into two things, either right or wrong. There's very little middle. There's very little middle. There's very little gray. You're right. There is very little gray. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, is everything either has to lead to a yes or no answer. But there is a lot of gray.
But is there anything wrong with being definitive yes or definitive no?
Well, the way I look at it is one way down the line, it's got to lead to one of those paths. You can have a middle, but eventually it has to steer to one of the, either yes, no. There is no, it just can't be even. I
think it can. I think it can stay that way. It stayed that way for hundreds of years. There's some topics have stayed right.
Well, I'm saying you're putting something. You're putting somebody on trial, and you're going to give him the death penalty, or is he going to go free? That's a yes or no. It's we'll see what happens. We'll wait a little while. Maybe we'll get more evidence to show that he's convicted of killing that person or whatever.
What's a more offensive costume, Sunday Jeff? Caitlyn Jenner or Walt and I years and years ago saw a little girl dressed as Monica Lewinsky with a cigar. Now, when I say little, she was probably 7 years old.
Yeah, it was at the height.
But
keep in mind, this was at the height of the news story.
Did that 7-year-old really know who Monica? Or do you think the parents just dressed her up like that? Oh, I should look at
the parents. Absolutely did.
But, so the kid has nothing to do with it.
And the parents were grinning ear to ear.
Right.
Well, they were so fucking pleased with themselves.
So clever.
Oh, can you believe our humor?
But it's not.
Can you believe our genius?
No.
Witness my genius through my child.
Yeah. We're absolutely
the genius
brilliant.
would have been let your child pick out their own costume and let them go what they want.
If you really want to see genius through someone's child, check out that Trunk Club ad from last week that I did with my daughter.
Oh, yeah? I haven't heard it, but I'm sure it's more genius than somebody dressing their kid up as Monica Lewinsky.
Trunk Club, huh? I'll have to listen to it.
What's this? I hear also Ghost Pussy is doing all our Casper ads. What
I thought
genius
it was
fucking move with the name.
I know, right? I was driving home, and because remember I said I was going to take care of all the ads, and I'm like, oh, man, what am I going to do for these ads? And I was just like, Casper. What can I do for Casper? And I was just like, ooh. And it just hit me, and I was just like, what a perfect marriage between our guy who is associated with ghosts, although be it in a pussified way, and a mattress company that calls themselves Casper. Right. And when I asked him, he leapt at the opportunity. He was more than eager to do it. And he said, "I'll do more if you have him." Now, I'm not saying that we're going to get Casper again. Who knows? But if we do, he is the official Casper
spokesman
for TSD, not for Casper.
Right.
Casper, should have a say in that. I mean, if he becomes the official spokesman. But
that's the brilliance. Like, we keep making people official spokespeople, like MeUndies and Casper, just to get out of doing the commercials.
Yeah, but
so do you agree with that, Sunday Jeff? That this Curt Schilling fellow, he this is what he believes. He believes 5 to 10% of Muslims are extremists. I mean, it's probably not that hard to believe.
Well, I mean, are they facts? Or are they
how does anybody really know that number, though?
Who the fuck knows?
But again, if he's under contract to not, obviously say things about races or whatever.
Let's not get into. But he paid
because
a price
it is something that he should. Well, yeah, but I'm saying if it's written that he's not supposed to be.
Would he have paid a price in that? Let's say it was if it was 2001.
No.
Let's put it this way: if it was
would he be suspended for that tweet in 2001?
He'd be celebrated.
No, not at all.
Why?
Well, you know what? I don't think to that extent, though. No, I don't think he would be. There would still be people that would complain about it. There still would be some people, not as many as there is now.
Very few people.
I don't think anybody would have spoke up and said anything.
Maybe Bill Maher. That would be good.
I mean, because that back then that was the beginning of racial profiling.
Did you ever see? I mean, I know we're going to get off of. Brian knows we're into sports, so maybe he'll let us go. Did you ever see a documentary called 7 Days in October? Huh. It's the story of the comeback of the Red Sox down 3-0 to the Yankees. It is a masterpiece of sports documentation. I don't care about shit about baseball, but it was riveting. It was so powerful. And I knew the outcome, and I was just glued to my seat. It is one of the greatest pieces of motion picture sports documentation. I loved it. I mean, it is so good. The fact that I hate the Yankees doesn't hurt how much I enjoyed watching it.
Was it one of those?
That's a real rule.
No, it was so. It wouldn't matter, man. It was.
Was
so
it that
well
one
done.
of those 30 for 30?
Yeah, it was one of those 30 for 30s.
Those things are so good. Like I'm not into sports either, but I watch so many of them.
So well done, man.
Yeah.
They really can make a non-sports fan just feel that there's a deeper story than just sports. There's something more going on there.
Yep. What was it about? It was
just these 7 days. I mean, it had never happened before that a team was down 3-0 in a playoff series and came back and won 4 straight. And against the biggest rivalry in sports, I'm willing to say that's probably is, right? Sunday Jeff?
One of them, yes.
If not the biggest one.
He's non-committal.
That's what I like about him. He knows where his butter's bred. He's not willing to say who he voted for, and he's not willing to say what the biggest rivalry in sports is.
It is up there. It is in baseball, that is probably the biggest rivalry.
I would say in sports. Can you name another one in sports? He can't, so.
No, I'm sure there's other ones out there.
There's other ones out there, but this is pretty fucking big. But it just says, like, there was these. I mean, there was just little moments that are just focused on, like a guy stealing first base when they're down by a run in the 9th inning. I mean, they're ready to be swept, and this guy steals second base, and it sparked everything from that moment on when he stole that base. Just went their way.
Changed the series.
And then nothing. It was like as if God. It was just like I'm tired of seeing the Red Sox lose.
And Babe Ruth came down.
Yeah, it was powerful shit, man. It was stuff like they should show.
Yeah, a lot of the sports documentaries are good.
Yeah, you might want to go to church. Right?
Did you ever see the LT one?
I'm not a fan of LT. I'm not interested in one. I watched it.
It was interesting though to see how what changed around him because of how he changed the game. As far as how he was, how he played, but just how his lifestyle changed. Like that wasn't the person he always was, and then once he got into the NFL, how his life started changing.
Power corrupts.
Exactly, right. But I'm saying that's why he had to move out of. He just, he had to move away from it.
What's that?
Do you subscribe to Power Corrupts?
Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely.
Well, I don't know about power. I think it's not absolute. I just think any power corrupts.
No. I mean, it depends on the level of power. I mean, you have a certain level of power at the stash. I don't find you to be overly corrupt.
But I don't have absolute power.
No, but I mean, who do we know that does? Joel?
Who?
Joel Stillerman, AMC?
Oh. I don't know.
He seems very nice to me every time I see him, not corrupt at all.
I mean, you can't go by the few minutes of FaceTime or emails you get from him.
You think I should investigate it a little bit more deeply?
But again, if you were think about like if you were in that situation, not with sports or just anything, now you're really in the public side. Like you're the superstar. You can't do things that you normally do with your family. You can't walk out to your car and just like go to a mall or go to Denny's or wherever you want to go.
I'm still not going to fucking go smoke crack.
No. I understand that, but I'm saying it does.
I can't go to the mall. I'm like, let me spark up this crack pipe.
Yeah, let me suck on some glass.
You might because you might not be able to get out of the fucking house. You guys like, I got to do something. Go on, give me some crack. Here, put on this Halloween costume. They'll never recognize you.
Here you go. Another. I do love to watch, to sit back and watch. And I haven't seen it in so long because I really have not been on the internet or Twitter in quite some time. But Josh,
I think you're better off for it.
I think so too.
Off the grid, brother. That's what I do.
I really do.
You were never fucking on the grid.
And you know what? And I'm just fine with it.
You never even got on the grid.
What's so important to read on here?
Find the fucking grid.
But what's so important to read on here?
I'm not disagreeing with you, but don't be like I'm off the grid like you were ever fucking on there.
I don't care.
Yeah, reading a newspaper every couple of days isn't being on the grid.
No?
Dude, I don't even think he reads a newspaper.
Sundays, that's it.
Sundays.
I remember the moment I was just blown away, the very first moment I knew that he was like a fucking, like I chiseled him out of ice. And I was just like, I found in my Neanderthal man.
Yeah.
He was pre 9/11. We're out driving around. We're making deals. We're fucking doing returns. We're way up in North Jersey. And the Sandra Levy case is the talk of the world. Mm-hmm. I forget who the senator was. But he was tied to her disappearance.
Oh, I'll find his name. Yeah, the Chandra Levy.
And I
was
were
it
driving,
Gary something or
Gary Conduit. Gary
Condit, yeah.
I don't know, something like that. And we're driving around. We're up way North Jersey, and flipping the radio station. And I said, I think this guy's going to go down. And bear in mind, this is the biggest story for weeks in the country.
It's all people were talking about. It was like...
and Jeff didn't have one iota of anything he could add to the story. He didn't know what it was. And I marveled at that. I was just like, that is a perfect state of ignorance.
Yeah. Blissful.
Yeah.
I agree.
Why do you... Why is it so? But why was it so important to you?
I didn't mean that to sound.
No, I'm saying, but why would it be? Why would it be? Well, ignorance usually isn't a good word, I would think. But I'm saying, why would that story be so important, though? Why is it? Why would people so many follow
dirty laundry?
Okay, but again, does it have a direct effect on your life?
It's a distraction from people's lives.
Why?
Because our lives are some people's lives. We need a distraction. Some of us do.
Okay, well then find a good distraction, not one of meaningless, news that I don't care for.
Because people love a car wreck. People love to be like, well, at least I'm not.
That's why I don't watch the news, because it is a car wreck. It's always bad news.
But also, if you are voting every term, it was a congressman who was being...
How do you place it, like you say?
Well, the reason why I vote, though, the reason why you have to vote is because there's a difference, though. You're trying to put the least of the worst criminal in your office, who's not going to take the most of your money.
Don't know that he's suspected of burying Chandra Levy
You have to. I'm saying a local politician. All politicians are...
Can you tell us, though, then how do you grade who you're going to vote for if you... are fucking basically...
You have to go basically on what...
Jed Clempett. Fucking and have no fucking... You're like in a fucking hut up in the Ozarks and you have no idea what's going on in the rest of the world.
Can you trust them? No. Because there's, sometimes there's... When you put somebody in office...
Is that what you do? What you're doing right now? Close your eyes and just pull a lever and you're like, there.
You put somebody in office and you hope... that everything that they say, they can at least do and try to accomplish some things.
Well, that's ridiculous, because none of them do.
But there's a reason why. It's called Congress. And unfortunately, Congress doesn't agree with everything everybody says.
It's not
and that's
Congress.
Where the problem... Yes, it is Congress.
It's big business who's bought all those congressmen.
I agree. I think it's corporations in this country.
They run the show, and no matter what anybody says, they're the ones who fucking pull the strings. And they're the ones that make policy. And they're the ones...
For the most part, you're right. Yeah, but you still have to try to, to make some kind of change. And I'm not talking about strictly about the presidency. I'm like at least talking about your local town. I have seen a difference by voting for my local town.
Really?
Yes. My property taxes have not.
What's the smallest office you will vote for?
I voted for mayor and governor. I mean, as far as like senator, I don't know because I don't know nothing about them. I mean, I can't follow all these.
You didn't vote for that one that fucking they thought.
No, I voted for our mayor, a mayor electoral. I vote for the mayor and I vote for governor and then presidency.
He called his wife. Did I vote for that congressman?
I didn't vote for that guy. Did I?
Yeah,
burying a girl.
But there's dirt on every politician. Nobody's that transparent.
Well, the garbage does get picked up on time.
No.
So
how much did we save in Texas?
Because nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Everybody's going to have some kind of problem.
Is there anybody who's perfect?
No, but I'm saying if you're even
the last politician who was perfect, there's never been one. Maybe the
you know what? Perfect doesn't exist. The word doesn't exist. There is nothing that's perfect.
So you got to go with the lesser of the evil.
Exactly. And that's all you can hope for. And hopefully maybe enough of it, where people are just like, I mean, as far as like, I don't know if you watch any of the debates. Now, I don't know if you're interested in Trump or whoever's up there.
I think there's no.
But I will say this thing, though. I mean, what he said, because he did bring up the immigration problem. And nobody else has really touched about that subject. Now that he brought it up, now there's at least talk about it.
Yeah, but
he brings it up in a way that you can't take him seriously. That's the problem because he's so cartoonish.
He's so divisive. I mean, you cannot unite a country.
I'm not saying I would vote for him, but I'm just saying at least it's in somebody's ear now, to where it's like, you know what, this problem's been going on for years, and nobody said anything about it.
But you really think that he can do anything if he wins?
He's talking about building a wall, the same stupid bullshit, the same stupid nonsense.
It's beyond that. If they are not, if they, like people rounding people up, it'll never happen, and it shouldn't happen. That's fucking crazy talk, and it's impossible to do. It's impossible to go round up all the people in here and then throw them.
No, you would either have to make them legal.
Yes, that's really what has to happen.
Would be the smartest thing because these people are working. Right? And that's all these billions of dollars in taxes that they're not getting paid on the government. Right. You would eliminate a lot of that stuff, as far as
but they're like, it's not like any of them on that stage can do anything.
He does seem quite. I'm just looking at this.
And the only reason anybody likes him is because he's speaking. He's speaking what Brian's talking about. He's speaking.
But you don't need somebody like that.
He's not speaking politically correct, and that's resonating huge. But it can only last for so long before you're like, this dude has no fucking policies. Right. That are fucking
you want somebody who's obviously wants to put. It's fine about talking them, but you have to put them in place.
Which I don't know if he really has.
I don't think that a lot of people couldn't put those.
I don't think so. I think there's a lot of rhetoric, and he's a very flamboyant type guy.
What do you think? He's just like, I'm just doing this to see if I can do it.
He seems overly preoccupied with Mexican people.
Yeah. I mean, it's bizarre. There's a lot more problems that come with the presidency than just that.
You're still at war. You've been at war for how many years now? I mean, it's draining. You have people that are still dying.
I mean, the amount of blood and fucking riches that have been spent.
But it's
poorly.
It's a mess. Now you got this thing with the stock market with China that's going on. It's things need to be addressed.
I mean, but I do think one thing Trump is showing the world, though, is that America doesn't want a fucking career politician. They want somebody who doesn't play the game, who's not fucking beholden to their master of the corporation, and that's what people really want now. And that may be
they're
the
tired
next
of the
election.
Special interest groups. Yeah.
That may be the next election. If somebody's now is taking notice, maybe the next 4 years from now, somebody will step up and be like, "I'm fresh. I'm not a fucking career politician. I've got good ideas," and maybe then we'll start to see that.
I'm going to hold back I agree. On the all Mexicans are rapists talk. It's like when you announce your candidacy and you say well, I guess not all Mexicans are rapists. It's like how do you get even one step further? But yeah, he keeps going
because he's resonating with a certain type of people who are just like.
I gotta say he does resonate with me in as much as I like a guy that, as stupid as he sounds, he's got
fire. He's fire.
He's not afraid to say what he's thinking.
He should be though.
No, he shouldn't be. It's good that he's saying what he's thinking, because if he did feel this way and wasn't telling people, and then he gets into office, God forbid,
shocking awe factor.
Then we got some fucking anti-Mexican guy in office. It's better that he, like this. I've read more news during this episode of Tell 'em Steve Dave than the past 2 months. In his latest showdown, Donald Trump ordered Univision anchor George Ramos out of a news conference, telling him to go back to Univision, which I guess is that. Which I guess you can translate as "go back to Mexico." That's what he's saying.
He's not talking about all Mexicans. He's just talking about people that don't belong here. That aren't here legally.
Right, but there's a way to.
How does this many people get into this country illegally then?
Because
how many people?
Let's talk about the fucking businesses that keep hiring them.
Oh,
let's talk about those people who keep keeping the.
Are they passing the savings on to you, putting a new roof on your house? You're not. Right. Who's getting the money? It's the American way, my friend.
Right. That's what I'm saying. What about the people who are hiring them? If they weren't hiring people, there wouldn't be this incentive to come then. And no one will bring up that subject. Why are they coming here? Well, for one, they're coming here for a better way of life. It's fucking 100 times better.
They're not bad
Mexico.
people.
I don't know if that sounds horrible.
They're not bad people.
I just have to make an educated guess, even though I've never been there. But I guess if they're all coming here, it has to be better, right?
Well, we're not talking about people who, say, move into a new apartment and may hire a couple Mexican guys from Wawa parking lot to help them move. You're not talking about that kind of person, right?
I think we are. I mean, it sounds like that's what you did this weekend. But I
talked to these guys about Mexico, and they were like, they both lived in Mexico City. They were like, it was hell on earth.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
Here. Yeah, and the one guy had been here for 13 years, Angelo, and the other guy had been here for 2 years. And I talked to him for a while because we were in the truck together.
That long?
But Jeff, let's say, Jeff, you lived in Mexico City and your family, and you knew if you just walked across that border, you could have a better life. Wouldn't you do it?
Sure, you would do it.
Right.
Did you ever? There was a show on either National Geographic about how hard it is actually to get into the country in some of those areas because you would have to take so much water with you that you wind up. They find so many people that are dehydrated and already about to die out in the desert,
and they still go though. What does that say?
Because it's like either being in Nazi Germany or being in
where in Mexico.
No, I'm just saying between the two. Where would you rather be? You're trying to get out. You want to be in a better life. You don't want your family. You don't want your family there.
Well, I'd probably say trying to get out of Mexico. Nazi Germany seemed a little difficult.
Well, all depends what you look like.
They had a lot more dogs and fences and that kind of shit.
You had blue eyes and blonde hair. You wouldn't have a problem. You'd jump the fence.
I'm the reason I brought that other thing up was Josh Duggar. Now this is that 19 and counting, this weirdo who wants his wife constantly pregnant. He checked into rehab.
What's he addicted to? You know what I found out today? I know this sounds like I'm the ignoramus.
Go ahead.
But this is one of those things, blissfully ignorant. I'll admit to it too, Jeff. Me and you, two fucking morons.
Not ignorant. I think blissfully immune. Immune's a better word.
I will admit, I didn't realize you can get addicted to sleeping pills.
What kind? Over the counter?
I had no idea.
You can get addicted to any kind of narcotic.
Why? I mean, what would be the?
Here, you take it every day, and one pill's not working. Now you got to take 2 pills.
Yeah, but
two pills aren't working.
But what's the benefit, though? You're always going to be sleeping?
No, but I'm saying it's not working. You're using it as it's supposed to be a temporary thing.
I take Ambien to fall asleep. At first, I was
taking. Is that a sleeping pill?
Yeah, it's a prescription sleeping pill. People get addicted to them all the time.
Sure.
I personally do not have. I would.
But what's the bad effect though? Like just because you're sleepy all the time?
I think that you can't fall asleep without it, and you can't fall asleep without increasing amounts.
And that's your dependence.
Now, on a personal level, I found that because I was prescribed 10 milligrams, it was giving me such vivid and weird dreams that I personally cut it down and took less because I couldn't deal with it anymore because the sleep I was having was so fitful and erratic. I just didn't want to do it anymore. So I cut the dose, went down to 5 milligrams, and that seems to work a little bit better.
To me, I'm just like, well, what would be the benefit of being addicted to sleeping pills? I mean, you're just constantly never awake then.
Well, it also depends on are you talking strictly sleeping pills? Or are you talking like Valium or like benzos?
I didn't even know that was a sleeping pill. I'm just talking about NyQuil.
Well, NyQuil,
something along those lines.
NyQuil has it has dextro.
It used to have the stuff when I had the Sudafed and stuff in there. Then
I can't remember
still
why.
Does, yeah.
I don't remember why I brought it up, but yeah, I just said it out during work today, something about sleeping pills, and somebody said, "Oh, someone made a joke about being addicted to sleeping pills." I was like, "You can get addicted to sleeping pills?"
Oh, sure. People will take them and they'll drink with them too.
Right, which you're not supposed to do.
That gets you a buzz, I guess. Yeah. People will take Ambien and try to stay up, and supposedly it's sort of like mildly hallucinogenic. I've never done that either. Yeah, but I think that's it. I think that's where that addiction comes in. Unless, like, if you're talking about straight up sleeping pills.
I would think that'd be the most harmless thing to be addicted to.
It's the problem would be like you said. I didn't have a problem falling asleep. You're just so you could sleep longer in the morning. That's not the reason why you're taking the sleeping pills. Is to fall asleep.
Yeah, my problem was I couldn't fall asleep, and
that's
I
why
couldn't stay asleep. But the next morning, I can't take them too late, otherwise, then I'm tired in the morning. But it seems to work so that I can still get up when I need to, and I'm not tired and shit like that. But benzos and stuff are like Xanax or Ativan, shit like that. Like, people become addicted to that very quickly, and that's like just one of those you like kind of zone out drugs.
What's this Duggar?
Josh Duggar, I can't fault him. He has become addicted to poontang.
Whoa.
He's got 19 kids, right? So
he's a sex addiction?
It says it's unclear what type of rehab he has entered, but he apologized after his name turned up in the data of the cheating website Ashley Madison. Did you hear about this hack?
I did hear about this. I saw it on the front page of the news.
Now, were you happy about this, or are you one of the people that feel like, look, these do-gooder hackers that are exposing other people's information because they're like on their moral high horse, like, hey, you shouldn't be cheating, so fuck you, therefore I have the right to expose your information.
No, it's privacy laws. You still don't have the right to do
that. It's an invasion of privacy. Just because they don't agree with what you're doing doesn't mean that...
It's like giving somebody your phone number and an address over the, just like blaring it out. You're not supposed to do it. It's privacy laws.
Now, I will say this. I don't really feel that bad for people that, who did get their information hacked. It's not one of those things where I'm like, oh, those poor people.
But you know what I'm surprised at? That this dude was the big celebrity that came out of this.
Suppose there's a bunch of them on there that just haven't been
out yet. Why is he the only one so far?
He doesn't have maybe the money as some as the other celebrities might.
So what? Money to do what?
To keep quiet.
Well, who are they paying to keep quiet though?
Whoever the hackers are.
So you think?
Oh no, the hackers are not. I don't know who they're paying, but it's not the hackers. The hackers don't seem to give a shit.
Or paying somebody.
Yes, he said, I became unfaithful to my wife. He had a secret pornography addiction. And he was like a real religious type, right?
Isn't that always the way?
It is. It is always the way. It's just that.
Why is it
like
then?
suppressing and the repression? It's like, just be a normal fucking human being. Like, let's stop pretending that
then
that
the TV
people
show
are.
Wouldn't be. They were trading on that facade.
The Waltons.
On
that
total
Waltons look.
horseshit. Yeah, they were trading on total bullshit.
Which was, they would, I imagine a lot of people would be like, have to, are willing to put a mask on so they can stay on TV. Oh.
Well, at least yours is just a sort of like smiley mask where you pretend that you're not completely annoyed. It's not really hurting anyone.
It's a Monica Lewinsky one with the cigar.
In a statement, the family said, "We continue to look to God." What are you looking to him for? He is our rock and our comfort. We ask for your continued prayers for our entire family. Oh, now I'm praying for the Duggars because this guy's on Ashley Madison?
They're not asking you to because they know your prayers won't be answered.
Yeah. Why?
Because you're saying it scoffingly. You're like, they know that any prayer would be indigenous. Is that what it? No, disingenuous.
Oh, disingenuous. Yeah.
Right.
Well,
any prayer.
Any prayer at all?
To God from you.
Oh, say like I'm on a plane and it's going down, and I'm like, oh shit, please God, let me survive. He's like, so now.
Exactly.
He's breaking into the cockpit, putting the fucking yoke forward towards the ground.
Oh, well, I'm on a plane going down. I'm just like, oh, sweet Jesus, sweet Mohammed, sweet Buddhas. I'm calling out for anybody. Whoever answers, I'm there.
Yeah. What would you do? What would you do in a situation like that?
What, going down on a plane?
What could you do?
I don't go to church.
It's out of your control, man.
But, I believe that...
Hands going to come out of the sky?
No,
and just
I don't believe. I'm not saying that, but I mean,
straighten out the wings for you.
I understand the feeling of that. There's an extreme comfort and peace that can come with spirituality and religion. So I'm not.
It's a calming.
And I don't. And the family. I mean, it's got to be fucking just one left hook after another for that family.
Oh yeah, because the other kid got caught like kitty fiddling and shit.
But, I mean,
that was the dad.
No, it wasn't the dad.
Having a family.
That was the dad on Ashley Madison.
Oh, it was the dad?
Yeah.
It wasn't the young kid?
Yeah. No, it said Josh Duggar. That's the dad, right?
No, I think it's the same guy. I think it's the same kid who was feeling people up.
Josh Duggar.
I don't know. I didn't read the story. I just saw a picture on the front. I thought it was the same kid.
You might be right. Hold on a second. The eldest of the Duggar children. You're right.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay, so this is the same fuck up.
And any family that regardless if they're on TV or not, regardless if they fucking shoveled a pile of shit that really wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
This is rough shit to be fucking have your business fucking sprayed out there for all of the world to see.
Well, especially when you come off as like let's say that my name popped up on Ashley Madison. No, nobody's looking to me and saying "Good God, this is outrageous! What a hypocrite!"
All right, Bri.
Right? I don't even know if it might not even make the paper.
It's not even making. No, it's not. I don't think it's making the local paper. I don't know if it's making Twitter. It's making nothing. Nobody,
I don't make Twitter. Right?
Nobody really. Well, if I
then the ant to go after.
Well, if I made it a fake account and I tweeted it, I'm like, I hear this Brian Johnson guy is getting tons of pussy. Yeah, he's got a pussy addiction. The biggest problem with it, they said with that Ashley Madison was that it's like 95% guys.
Yeah.
And all these female profiles were fake. There's a lawsuit now, and they were created, just so guys would think oh, maybe I got a chance.
Really?
But I remember
you have to pay for this. Is this like a website you got to actually pay into it?
I think you get on for free, and then
there's got to be a payment.
Yeah, there's some tiers where you have to pay.
There's got to be money involved.
It's like the free apps, and then it's like in-app purchases. But it's basically like a website where people are supposed to be setting up affairs. I remember Stern used to advertise it all the time, and I never liked it. I think it's just creepy and greasy and not very nice at all.
Just promoting it now.
That to me, I'm surprised that you would be like that. You would have that level of dislike for it. Yeah. I thought you would just be just indifference. I would thought you'd be met with that.
No, I think we talked a while back. I asked I think I read a list of advertisers to you. I was like, would you advertise this? And Ashley Madison was one of them. And I said, if Ashley Madison wanted to advertise with us, I would turn them down. And I think at the time they were advertising with Kev.
Yeah, you know who we could get though to do it if Ashley Madison's interested? They may need some help. Maybe Ghost Pussy. What a mixture. Ghost Pussy on Ashley Madison.
Oh, yeah. He's like, don't be spooked away. Yeah. He's like, Ashley Madison is still here for you. Yeah. And then you have, since we're talking about all hot button issues, we'll wrap it up with poor Jared Fogle, Sunday Jeff. The guy, fat ass Subway guy who lost a bunch of weight eating subs. And now just because he, has a little bit of child porn on his computer and went on some Jeff? Sex tourism.
How about this Sunday Jeff Halloween costume? Jared, you get the orange jumpsuit, says Jared on it, and there's a Subway, sewed onto where your ass crack is, like a Subway sticking out of it, a Subway.
No, I thought you were going to put it in the front of you, but
no, it's hanging out like it's in his ass,
like a tail.
Yeah. How would that sell?
I'm sure people would buy it. Somebody's going to wear it.
Of Halloween, they're listening in. They're like, "Oh my god, how did we not think?"
We found this year's hot seller.
Yeah, okay. You're in an orange jumpsuit, and it says Jared, and you have the Subway thing on your back, and you're holding hands with a little kid. Oh, and you're walking around.
No.
Yeah,
no,
that's worse, right?
Yeah, I think that's a little bit worse.
Yeah. I thought, I don't know why, because I had nothing to base it on. But when I heard that the director of his charity was involved in this shit, and it's and maybe he's in trouble too.
Yeah, I remember you saying you were like, I can't believe he's getting tied. The poor bastard's getting drawn into this
because of that guy. Yeah. I don't know why I thought
You know why? because you're just like every other American. You saw that commercial, man. You saw his smile, and you were like, wow, what a good feel-good story. And you like the guy.
Yeah. I was like, he's my friend. No, yeah.
I felt like I wanted to go and meet him, have a sub with him.
I mean, it just goes to show you, man. There's fucking monsters and freaks under every rock, man.
Everywhere, man. Like, this guy was going. It wasn't just like, ooh, I'm looking at pictures. Like, he went to sex tourism and shit, you know? Says he has to pay his 14 victims $100,000 each and will go to jail for 12 years. Subway has also fired him, fucking obviously.
All right.
But I heard his net worth was like $15 million. So why is he only paying $100,000 or $1.4 million? That's not right.
I would love to get something, Jeff, your feelings. Can Subway survive this? Because every time I see a Subway...
It'll blow over.
It'll blow over?
There's more Subways than there is McDonald's. They're the biggest competitor for McDonald's.
Yeah, let's see how many there are.
Before that also came out, they did lose money. They said their sales were down even before this happened.
This is going to hurt.
They invested in a Jared Halloween costume.
Right? Do you think
I don't think so.
Like,
I wouldn't stop eating at Subway because their spokesman was a fucking perv.
I read articles where the experts opine that this could be a death blow to a lot of franchises.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be people boycotting
people like
there.
That.
Sure.
Yet Chick-fil-A survives when they're openly anti-gay. Like, that's weird.
But this is a different beast altogether. Chick-fil-A was a religious stance.
Yeah.
There is no.
They're closed on Sunday.
Yeah.
Tell them, Steve, Dave. That's good.
It's an indoor league.
Is that the equivalent of it? It's an indoor league. They're closed on Sunday. I mean, it's like
they're religious. They're closed on Sunday. They are closed on Sunday. They put a point. Hey, I'd rest on the seventh day, right? So they're closed.
I mean, what could I possibly add?
Tell him, Steve, Dave.
From the ceiling burns This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.